प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम्।
Even in chaos, divine creates order. Divine creates order. If you understand, the whole thing is intelligence. This intelligence responds to your thoughts. You can relate with that intelligence. Naturally, you experience a deep peace, rest, a real ultimate rest, and confidence to live happens to you. As long as you think world is matter, material, what is the use of living? Nothing. Even if you become president of one country, the other countries will not be under your control. You can never become a president of the whole world. So naturally you can never achieve the whole matter. As long as you believe world is material, you will be creating more and more violence because you need material. Material means you have to snatch from others. Some way or other, violence will exist. Only a person who understands the whole thing is energy, intelligence, only he can relax. Krishna says, next sutra, next sloka, is the main core which reveals the secret. He tells Arjuna and to all of us, Ananyas chintayanto mamye jana pariyubasade Desham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. He says, Ananyas chintayanto mamye jana pariyubasade Desham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Those who always worship me, those who always reside in me, those who are having the Ananyas Chinta, means non-dual Bhavana, means people who become me, people who experience the eternal consciousness. Ananyas Chintayanto Mamye Jana Varyupasade. People who have become me, people who reside in eternal consciousness, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Please be very clear. No other incarnation has revealed this truth so clearly. He says, if you reside in the eternal consciousness, the divine energy, the bliss consciousness, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Yoga and Kshema, I give them whatever they want and I take care it stays with them. I take care that nobody steals from them. Beautiful statement and assurance. Please understand, it is not just assurance, it is promise. Assurance is different, promise is different. It is promise. Krishna gives a promise. If you reside in my consciousness, if you reside in eternal consciousness, whatever you lack, I bring. Whatever you lack will be given to you, and whatever you have will be preserved. It's a strange thing. He means just be spiritual, you will have everything, nothing will be lost. Very difficult to believe. At least people who are trained in the so-called Western education. Very difficult for them to believe. How can I have what I want just by meditating, Swamiji? Immediate question. How can I have what I want just by meditating? Please be very clear. Now, in the modern day, especially the quantum physics, after the breakthrough of quantum, science clearly proves it is just your thoughts which creates the whole universe. It is your thoughts which creates the whole universe. If you reside in eternal consciousness, you create your own universe. And not only that, the universe responds to your thoughts. A small research, but important research. I read in a magazine. One professor, he took 3 rose plants, rose bush, same size, same kind, kept in 3 different rooms. He will enter into the first room and start using the beautiful words. You are so beautiful, you are nice, you are great, don't worry, I will protect you, why do you need thorns? He will give all assuring, caring words, loving mood he will create. Next he will go to the second plant, will not do much, just he will see and come away. Neither negative nor positive. Third he will go and just curse the plant. What nonsense are you doing? You are ugly. All the negative energy he will create by words. He continued to do this 21 days. Just as a research, how plants respond to thoughts. Please understand, it is shocking to see the report, end result. He says, the first plant to which he used to give positive words, the plant has grown twice and no thorns. I myself have seen that photograph. I saw the photograph of that plant. No thorn in that rose. Whole plant, no thorns. Just because he gave the assurance, I will protect you. Why should you protect yourself? Don't bother, there is no need for thorns. Rose plant without thorns. Next, it was a normal rose, it was there, that's all. It's just normal growth. Third, the plant died. The plant died. Not once. 11 times he repeated the same experiment in a different places in a different way. All the 11 times, the third plant which received negative thoughts died. He says all 11 times the plant died. Sir C.V. Raman, he proved even the plants are living. This experiment proves the existence, outer world responds to your thoughts. Not only that, one more research. Just like our ECG, electrocardiogram, now they have discovered a machine to read the vibrations of tree. Read the vibrations of trees. They fixed, in 20 trees they fixed that machine. and started observing the vibration or the pulse created by the tree. For experiment purpose, they made woodcutter to come inside the garden with the thought of cutting a particular tree. You will be surprised. Only that tree, he did not even go near that tree. With that thought, he entered the garden. Immediately, that tree's graph started oscillating, started jumping. The tree is panicking. The tree started suffering. Tree started feeling the fear. Next day, they told him to come, thinking to cut the other tree, some other tree. Exactly according to his thought, if he wants to cut the tree X, the X tree graph is just jumping. If he comes inside the garden with the thought of cutting Y tree, the Y tree graph jumps. Please be very clear. Existence responds to your thoughts. You are not an island. You are not an island. Don't think, you can think whatever you want in your inner space and your outer life will be different. Your outer life and the inner life is very deeply connected. If you live the spiritual life, automatically you will attract only spiritual friends around you. Your world also will become spiritual. All other relationships will drop by itself. You will not even feel like relating. Many of our devotees come and tell me, Swamiji, nowadays I am not able to go to parties. Even if I go, I have nothing else to talk. I am not able to talk anything. What usually these fellows will talk in parties? Same that stock market. Who ran away with whom? Who is going with whom? And who is staying with whom? Same thing. Nothing useful. The same information. And everybody feels that they know some 4-5 secrets. They call somebody separately. Don't tell anybody. It's only for you. Do you know? Just 3 days ago, this is what happened. If you want to spread some news, if you want to spread for a few hundred people, telephone. Few thousand people, television. If you want to spread for millions of people, tell a woman. Telephone, television, tell a woman. And not only that, just telling will not do. You should take a promise. This is a secret. It should not be told to anybody. Only for you. Then after 10 minutes, even your dog will bark with that news only. Especially in India. In America, of course, people don't meet each other, almost isolated. In India, they cannot relax. If they get some news, unless it is delivered to at least a few hundred people, they cannot relax. And best way to spread news. And they have their own network. They know if you tell one person, that person will take care of that. Other few hundreds. Other few hundreds. Anyhow. Understand, the existence responds to your thoughts. People who enter into the spiritual life, they can't go to the normal parties. They can't have the same old usual talks about your stock or who is with whom, what happened, where things happened, who ran away, all those things. You will not have time. You will not have energy. You will not have mood. Only based on your thought, you create relationships, friends, society, your circle, and naturally your whole world. Again and again, Vedanta says, Drishti Srishti. You create the universe from the angle of your vision. If your drishti changes, srishti changes. If your vision changes, world changes. They say, not only they say, it is truth. You project your world and see. See, in front of a projector, whatever you keep, whatever slide you keep, that appears in the screen. If you keep a slide of God, that God photo picture will appear in the screen. Screen is this physical planet Earth. Whatever you keep in front of your consciousness, according to that you project your life, your world and experience. The slide decides the scene on the screen. Your mentality decides the way in which you perceive the world, the way in which you experience the world. A small change in the slide will change the scene. Small change in your mind will change your whole world. The screen is same. The backdrop screen is same. But the scene changes. Same way, if your inner space, if your thought changes, the whole universe changes. Whole universe responds. Whole existence responds to your inner space. Don't think you are an island. You are part of this whole existence. You are not alone here. If you think you are alone, you will continuously fight with existence, fight with the whole universe. You will see the rest of the universe as an enemy. Part can never see the whole as enemy. You are part. This is whole. If you see this as an enemy, you can never rest. Only a person who understands the whole is his own being. He is part of the whole. He can realize tremendous relaxation and bliss. He says, Ananyas chintayanto mamye jana variyuvasade desham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyakam. When you reside in my consciousness, whatever you lack, I get, and whatever you have, I preserve. We may think, yes, Swamiji, we know, we understand, universe responds to our thoughts, but how can I get what I want? Please understand, the moment you change your thoughts, the moment your inner space changes, automatically you start attracting things towards yourself. Please be very clear. If you tune your TV to BBC, you will see the BBC channel. You will tune your TV to ABC, you will see the ABC channel. If you tune to CNN, you will see CNN. Same way, if you tune your consciousness to bliss, continuously even material wealth will shower on you. We may think, how can it be possible? How can this happen? What kind of words Swamiji is giving? But I tell you, now it will look very difficult. You may feel very difficult to understand. But start experimenting. I courageously tell you, I declare from my own authority, this sloka is a solid truth. Because 9 years I lived. I tell you, this is a promise by the divine. 9 years I lived in utter insecurity. I know Krishna still proves his words. Still he proves his words. Yoga Kshemam Mahamyaham, he does. I can quote thousands of incidents from devotees' lives. Thousands of incidents. In so many devotees' lives, Tukaram, Tulsidas, so many masters' lives, I can quote. I can quote so many incidences from my own life, from my life. Let me tell you a small incident. Again I tell you, it's an honest truth. I promise this incident is truth. I was staying in Hardwar, place called Kankal. I was staying and doing tapasya. Every day morning I'll go for a bhiksha, where they give the bhiksha for sadhus. In so many ashrams they give bhiksha for sadhus. I go there, get my bhiksha, I'll come and eat 2-3 rotis and start meditating. Suddenly I fell sick. High temperature and diarrhea. I could not even walk. I was not able to walk. I thought, what can be done? All right. Suddenly, one young sannyasi, he came and he gave me food. Not only one day, continuously for 3-4 days, every day he will come, he will bring food for me. Not only food, he brought the medicine also. I asked him one day, who are you, from where you are? He said, oh, my name is Shankar. I just stay nearby an ashram called Sadhana Sadhana. There is an ashram. Nearby ashram. He said, Sadhana Sadhana. Every day he started coming and giving me food and medicine till I became all right. At least some 4-5 days. Every day he came. And because he came every day, after 2-3 days I started talking to him. He became a little acquainted. And I saw he was having a beautiful pen with a diamond on it. Diamond jewelry. There are many diamonds are put nicely. Pen with diamonds. Beautiful pen. And I was surprised how a sannyasi got such a costly gift. I asked him, what is this, Baba, what is this, Swamiji? He said, this is a diamond pen, some devotee gave me. It looks so nice, I am having it. So, anyhow, I did not bother about it. After a few days, when I became all right, he stopped coming. He stopped coming. Then I thought I should go and see him. Now I am able to walk and move. I should go and see him. I felt little connected because he served me. He helped me. I should go and see him. After a week, when I became completely all right, I started walking. I came to the same ashram and inquired, Swamiji, I wanted to see Shankar Swamiji. Shankar? Whom you are talking? I said, I wanted to see Shankar, young Swami. I met him 2-3 days ago. He used to come every day. He will bring me food. In our ashram, there is only one Shankar. Go to the temple, see, he is the only Shankar we have. They showed the Shiva statue. And I tell you, it's a truth, promise. When I entered the temple, I saw the same pen. Shiva's cloth, same pen, same diamond pen. Of course. Simply tears rolled in my eyes. And I felt, so much of gratitude overflowed. I asked that Swami, how did this pen come to the Shiva? Who will put pen on Shiva's statue? He said, 1 week ago, some devotee brought an offer. Because it was looking so nice, they said it is a diamond. So we just wanted to decorate Shiva with the diamond jewelry. So we put that on him. Same pen. Diamond pen. I asked, who will put pen on Shiva? If you put other jewelries, you can believe. And he said, I don't know. Just some devotee brought an offer. This pen, they gave it to me. I said, because it is diamond, why a sannyasi should have diamond? I wanted to give it to God. I wanted to put it on Shiva. So just I inserted on the Shiva's cloth. Of course, just because of this one incident, I am not asking you to believe the whole thing. You can experiment in your life. You may say, this is your experience. How can this be a truth for us, Swamiji? Again, ordinary mind can doubt. This is your experience. How can this be truth for us? But I tell you, your very consciousness, inner space, has got the quality to create miracles in your life. Miracles can happen in your life. Continuously, they are happening. One simple thing. I think the other day I was talking about this. When a telephone rings, suddenly you will remember some friend's name. When you go and pick up the phone, he will be there on the line. When somebody knocks the doorbell, you go and open the door. You remember somebody and you go and open the door and he is there. This is what I call power of coincidence. Power of coincidence. In each one of us, the power of coincidence, the power to create, the power of coincidence exists. In each one of us, the power to create miracles exists. But all we need to do is open that. Understand you have the power to create the power of coincidence. Trust your consciousness is connected to universe. Continuously universe is caring for you. The divine is waiting for you. It responds to your thoughts. It is you who create what you want. Just how you create a whole world in your dream. In the dream, you project the whole thing and create. You have the same power to create your world even when you are conscious, when you are in the waking state. When you can create a world in the dream state, can't you create that in the waking state? You are doing it. Now, even now, you are creating your world. Next question will come. If we are creating, why are we creating so many miseries, Swamiji? Because you have vested interest in your sufferings. Please be very clear. You have vested interest in your sufferings. Maybe there are some more reason, some other utility you must be having because of your suffering. It is you who create your whole thing. When your inner consciousness changes, when you start residing in the eternal consciousness, automatically you attract the power of coincidence. You attract the power of coincidence. The moment you understand Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat, you attract Lakshmi, because Lakshmi stays with Vishnu. If you understand the whole universe is divine, it is pervaded by divine, when you experience, when you understand Vishnu, you attract Lakshmi. There is a beautiful mantra in Tantra Shastra. Ananda Kambranaha means the fortune, Adrishta, is attracted by Ananda. When you create a blissful inner space, automatically you attract even the external wealth. Tell me, what all the things which creates wealth? Clear thinking, creative mind, the ability to take spontaneous decisions, ability to respond spontaneously is what? Responsibility. Ability to respond spontaneously to any situation is the responsibility. If you are able to respond spontaneously to any situation, you can take that responsibility. You need clarity of thinking, creativity, and power to take responsibility. All these three only creates wealth and preserves wealth. If you enter into the bliss space, if you keep your inner space blissfully, if you enter into the bliss consciousness, all these three automatically happens to you. Automatically all these three happens to you. Wealth will be created around you and it will stay with you. Automatically all these three will happen to you. It is not that it should be showered only by lottery. It is not that it should be showered only by lottery. It can come in any form, but it will stay with you. Please be very clear. Whomsoever wins through lottery never preserves it. All over the world, so much of lottery is going on. Have you seen a single man who has become rich by lottery? I tell you honestly, I am going all over the world. Per year, around 200,000 miles I fly. Every year, average 200,000 miles I am flying. I am seeing lakhs of people. At least our movement has touched more than 1 million people. I tell you from my experience, I have not seen a single person who has become rich by lottery. By lottery, nobody can become rich. Even if they become, they do not know the value of money. In few days, they will blow it away. In Telugu, they will say that Nelu Dopadi. Put everything in the undi of Venkateshwara. In India, people do Nelu Dopadi in Tirupati. Here they do in Las Vegas. That's all. This country, they go to Las Vegas and drop everything. Las Vegas, that's why Las Vegas. Las Vegas, that's why Las Vegas. They go on, drop everything and come back. Be very clear. It is not that wealth should come only by lottery. It will come by intelligence. When it comes by intelligence, it will stay with you. When your inner space is taken care, automatically the outer space showers on you. You are a blessing for the planet Earth. Naturally, the existence responds, gives its gratitude to you. Never think existence is dumb. Never think universe is matter. It is intelligence. People come and ask me, Swamiji, I am searching for a guru. I feel so much inspired to do spiritual practice, but I want guru. I tell them, please be very clear. If your search is intense, God will send guru. He never misses his responsibilities. If you have not got the right guru, if you have not got the master means, please be very clear. Something seriously wrong in your seeking. If your seeking is proper, straight away master will happen in your life. He never delays. He never delays. He has got much faster system than any UPS, any overnight delivery. He can deliver in second. He never delays. Divine never delays. Jesus never fails. Please be very clear. All we need to do is change your inner space. First thing, understand this one secret. Whether you believe it or not, it is truth. A basic secret. Once you enter into a spiritual life, once you decide you wanted to live the spiritual life, from that moment, all your worldly things are also taken care by the divine. It responds to whatever you need and it takes care of whatever you have. We may ask all funny questions. Swamiji, then today onwards if I stop working, will I have everything? Be very clear. If you enter into the spiritual mood, if you enter into the spiritual life, meditative life, you will never think of dropping your work. Why will you think of dropping your work? You will never think of dropping your work. You will only drop your worries about work. Then you will work in a much better way. Automatically you will work in a much better way. You will have the tremendous confidence. The whole existence is protecting me. Whole existence is my friend. I am not enemy of this whole. I am friend of this whole. Be very clear. When you understand you are the friend of this whole existence, cosmic energy, even after death you will not disappear. Because you know you will be there in the universe in some form. There is nothing to worry. Socrates says beautifully, before he was poisoned, Plato, his disciple, all of you should read the conversations between Socrates and Plato at the time of Socrates' death. I think Plato recorded the conversations of Socrates. They asked Socrates, are you not afraid of death? Socrates says, only two things. Either I will be alive after I leave the body, in some form, in some way, somewhere. Then why should I be afraid? I am going to be alive. Or I may not exist. Completely I may disappear. Then why should I be afraid? After all, I am not going to suffer. Either I will not exist or I will exist. If I am going to exist, why should I be afraid? I am going to after all exist. In some other form, in some other name, somewhere. If I am not going to exist, then what is there to suffer? There is no suffering. I am not going to suffer. Because there is nothing. Nothing is going to be. Then why should I suffer? In both ways, there is no need for suffering. Of course, his answer is logical. But I tell you, it is from experience. It is practical. from experience I tell you, you will never perish. You will continue to exist in some form, somewhere. Even if you become enlightened, you will become such a pure conscious energy, you will be there everywhere. You will never die when you understand that existence is intelligence. Krishna says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. Name Bhakta Pranashyati. He says in the next chapters. Shipram Vavari Dharmatma Sasvatchantim Nigachadi Kaunteya Pradijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. He who quickly became dharmic means that understands this truth, enters into the eternal bliss, eternal consciousness. O son of Kundi, Kaunteya, declare it boldly. Prajadini Pradijanihi means let it be declared boldly that my devotee never perishes. If you understand, when you understand the existence is intelligence, please be very clear, you will never perish, you will never die, because you are going to be in this existence somewhere in some form. This body may move, but you will be there forever. When you understand this whole cosmos is intelligence, whole cosmic energy is intelligence, your whole life is blessed with what you want, whatever you lack will be supplied to you, and whatever you have will be preserved. And I tell you, very practical thing, just start from today. Decide, I will start living in a blissful mood, in a blissful way, in an utter relaxed consciousness. I promise you will attract Lakshmi. You will attract wealth. A disciple is a jeweler, goldsmith. Because he is a goldsmith, after he made that, he remembered me and he wanted to present it to me. He brought and gave it to me. And he is a very elderly Swami, elderly sadhu. He said he made only one piece and he presented that to me, that to me. And I put that on a Shiva. And still it's a mystery. Still it's a mystery. When you intensely, really understand the truth, the whole universe is energy, the whole existence is energy. Please be very clear. Simply the yoga and kshema happens in your life. Happens in your life. Let me tell you from my personal experience. Instead, I can quote so many great devotees' lives where divine came down and served them, where divine took care of them. Mirabai, when she was given poison, Sri Krishna came and protected her. So many millions of stories I can tell. But let me tell you from my own life, at least 9 years I lived without touching money, with one water pot, the Kamandalu, with this 2-piece dress, walking length and breadth of India, living under trees, begging and eating. I tell you, whether you want it or not, accept it or not, believe it or not, divine always protects. Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham is the solid truth. Ananyas Chintayanto Mamye Jana Variyuvasade Desham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. When you understand this truth, not only in this world, wherever you go, you are protected. you will relax into the consciousness which will continuously protect you, take care of you. When you think the whole is your enemy, you will be continuously antagonizing it. When you understand the whole is your friend, you relax and enjoy the whole existence. To make your life as a hell or heaven is dependent on this one single sloka. Understanding the existence, trusting it, whether it's a matter or spiritual, matter or a spirit, that's all the secret of the whole thing. The whole chapter reveals this single secret, that is the cosmic energy. The universe is intelligence which responds to your thoughts, which again and again answers to your being, to your thoughts, to your very consciousness. Next sloka. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakyuha yubhagrutam asnami prayadatmanaha. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo ma bhaktye prayachati tadaham bhakyubhagrutam asnami prayadatmanaha. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I'll accept it. He says, the existence, the divine is so alive, even simple thing, I respond to it. Please be very clear. It doesn't say, I accept only big things. He says, even simple things I accept. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti vadhridam masnami prayadatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. This is the greatness of divine. The greatness of the Lord is simple. Simplicity is the greatness of Lord. Please be very clear. Simplicity is the real greatness. To be big, you don't need intelligence. Any fool can show himself as big. To be big, only fools can. Being big, only fools will do. One small beautiful saying in Zen. One Zen disciple was behaving very humbly, respecting everybody. Master says, don't be too humble. You are not that great. Don't be so humble. You are not that great. To be humble, you need to be great. Simplicity is the great quality of divine. He says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Just a leaf, a flower, a fruit, a little water, simple things are enough. I accept it. I am pleased. I respond to it. It shows, see, in the first sloka, he expresses the greatness. I am all pervaded. He says here in the fourth sloka, Maya tadamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. I am all pervading, great, ultimate divine. One big problem, even if you know that somebody is big or great, You can't relate unless he is able to relate with you. Unless he comes down to your level. Your real greatness is not just being great. He must be able to relate with everybody. He must be able to relate with everybody. Otherwise, what we will do? What can we do? If he is great, what can be done? There are many people in India, they know some great masters are there. But they again and again tell me, yes, I know they are great masters, Swamiji, but how can I relate with them? I have no use by them. I can't do anything. I can't even relate with them. They are somewhere, they are great, no doubt. But I have no way to relate with them. I have no way to relate with them. Here Krishna creates way even for ordinary people to relate with him. One side he shows his greatness. He declares his authority. Other side he shows you the way to relate with him. He says, Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. Even if you offer a leaf, flower or a fruit or little water, with love I accept it. I relate with it. That is why from time immemorial, all enlightened masters are requested to live by begging. In India, sannyasis are supposed to live by begging. Even Buddha lived by begging. You see, Buddha doesn't come for begging because he wants food. He can sit in his place and kings will bring food for him. He comes down to beg so that you can start relating with him. You will feel he is a human being. When you give food, you will start talking to him. You will start relating with him. You will feel he is also like you. You can relate with him. Just to make you feel comfortable. In modern day psychology, there is a beautiful word, zeroing down the distance. Zeroing down the distance. To zero down the distance, Buddha comes down begging. Here Krishna zeroes down the distance completely. The distance between you and the divine is zeroed down by this sloka. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti bhagradam asnami prayadatmanaha. If you give with love, even a simple flower or a fruit, I accept it. The distance between you and the divine is zeroed down. That is the next important secret Krishna reveals. First thing, Krishna proves the whole cosmic energy, the whole universe is intelligence. Next, the moment you understand it is intelligence, you relax from all the tension, worry, fear, insecurity. You see, as long as you think world is material, matter, you will feel like protecting yourself from that. You are a part and that is the whole. You will be fighting with the whole. That is why you feel deeply uprooted. You don't feel connected. You don't feel like relaxing. You don't feel homely because you are fighting with the whole. The moment you understand you are part of the whole and the whole is an intelligence which responds to your thoughts, which responds to your deeds, which responds to your consciousness, you relax into enlightenment. Into enlightenment. I always tell people, this sloka is lazy man's guide to enlightenment. If you are lazy, if you want enlightenment, this sloka is the first right way. The only way. Understand, the universe is intelligence which responds to your thoughts, deeds and consciousness. Immediately you will relax and rest. Enter into the divine consciousness, eternal consciousness. Next he says, when you drop yourself into the eternal consciousness, I take care of your yoga and shema. I take care of whatever you lack. I supply what you lack and I preserve what you have. Next he says, even a simple leaf, water or a fruit or a flower, when you offer it with love and devotion, I accept it. Please be very clear. He is not asking because you don't have. When you bring a biscuit packet to child, when you give it to that kid, when it opens, you tell, give one for mommy. It's not that you don't have. If a child opens that packet and picks up one biscuit and gives it to you, how happy you feel. It is not that you don't have, it is you brought. But when child gives it back, you feel so beautiful. You feel connected. And you know he wants to connect to you. He wants to relate with you. Same way, when you offer something to divine, don't think he is not having. It is he who gave everything. When you offer, you show to the divine, I want to connect with you. You show to the master, oh Prabhu, I want to connect with you. And he feels, yes, when you want to connect with me, let me connect with you. You show a green signal for divine to enter into your space. He is standing always. Please be very clear. Bible says, knock and the door shall be opened. I tell you, God is knocking, just open. You don't have to knock, He is knocking. Just open. Naturally, you will be in. So when you offer something to the divine, I always tell people, don't go to temple empty hand. At least 2-3 fruits. Whatever you have. At least few dollars. Whatever you have. Always offer something to God. Always offer something to the divine. See, never think the divine doesn't have. He is not asking because he doesn't have. By you giving that to divine, you show a positive sign. You express a willing attitude to relate with him. When you offer it with the divine, he accepts it and he relates with the divine. Avajanandi mam mooda manushim danumasritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend on the human form. They do not know my ultimate nature, eternal nature as the Supreme Lord, all that be. Here Krishna uses a very strong word, fools. Mudaha. Enlightened masters don't edit. They don't edit. They just speak the truth as it is. Usually, normal people edit because they are afraid of others' opinions. See, normally, in all your minds, 3 processes happens. One is words created, then edited, then presenting. Creating, editing, presenting. With masters, 3 process doesn't happen. Straight away it is presented. Somebody asked me, Swamiji, continuously hours together you are speaking. Hours together you are speaking. One professor, American university professor, he attended many of our lectures. He asked me, continuously hours together you are speaking. Of course, if you see our website, you can see every day somewhere or other in the world I am speaking. Last 2.5 years, not even a single day went without any program. Not even a single day. Always somewhere or other some program. Some lecture, some program, something is going on. Some meditation camp. He asked me, how you are able to continuously speak without any notes? Please be very clear, here also only slokas are there. Only the slokas are here. There is no other notes. How you are able to speak continuously without any notes? I keep the sloka so that the original pronunciation is not lost and the originality should be maintained. I do not want to miss any word, and we respect the sutras. We don't alter the sutras. I can say Vedas are the books unadulterated scripture. No alteration is done. Even tune can't be changed. Even the tune in which they chant can't be changed. The chandas cannot be changed. Same tune, it will be preserved. It is not by hearted, by reading. It is heard, shruti. Heard. By hearing, they by heart. That is why even the tune cannot be changed. Words cannot be changed, it is different. Even tune cannot be changed. Just to preserve the purity, I keep the sloka. No notes. He asked, how you are able to continuously speak without notes on you? And this is the first lecture where I keep something in front of me. If you attended earlier lectures or any program, whether it is 4-day program or 5-day program, never I keep any notes. This is the first time I am keeping something in front of me. Because first time I am commenting on a Sanskrit literature. He asked me, how you are continuously able to speak something? I told him, because the process is very easy in me. I don't edit. I don't have the 3 mechanism, creating the words, editing and presenting. For all of usual people, 3 mechanism has to happen. Then he put me one more question. Swamiji, speaking hours together is different. For me, even for 1 hour lecture, I have to prepare 3 hours. If I have to speak 1 hour, the ideas or the concepts which I am supposed to present, I have to prepare for 3 hours. For sure I know you don't have time for preparation for so many hours of your discourses. Because in our meditation camps, 18 hours program will be there. Per day 18 hours. In our NSP meditation camps, 18 hours people attend. Said, how can you prepare for such a long discourses? How do you speak without preparation? I tell him, we prepare because it has not become our experience. I asked him, if somebody asks your name, do you prepare? Do you see your notes and tell? Your name has become your experience, your being. Immediately you respond. Same way, whatever I am speaking is from my experience. So I don't have to prepare. I don't have to do rehearsal. Because it is my experience, I can spontaneously express it. There is nothing needs to be prepared. Preparation is not necessary. One more thing. Why people are afraid of public lecture? Why they again and again prepare and come with a rehearsal? They are afraid they may speak what they are thinking. They do not want to express what is going on inside. They wanted to express only a polished words, decent words, a clear words. They are afraid by mistake they may express what is going on inside. They may utter the words what they are thinking. That is why they again and again prepare. Only a person whose inner chattering itself has become pure, not only his words, whose very thinking has become pure, can talk in a relaxed way for hours together in public. To speak in public, that also in a very relaxed, casual way, you need your very inner being in a pure way. Only then you can sit and talk whatever comes. You can be in such a relaxed mood. Otherwise, continuously you have to edit. One more thing. If you edit and speak within half an hour, 1 hour, you will be tired. You will feel drained. You will feel drained. You will not radiate the same energy. Persons who edit and speak, speaking is a big work for them. They cannot be so relaxed. They cannot be so joyful. Masters don't edit. They just express whatever they think. Because their thinking itself has become so pure, they don't need to edit. They don't need to edit. Even if they use sharp words, they are to awaken you. Here Krishna uses the word mudaha. Fools deride me. Means he is giving a jolt for ego. He is giving a jolt. When I descend, fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my eternal nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. He says, when I land in the world, in the human form as a master, people, fools, deride me. They don't understand. He again and again tells this to Arjuna. Don't think just because I am in the body, I am your friend. Don't think the person who was sitting in the Vrindavan, who is your own friend, don't think I am that person. I am the energy which takes care of the whole world. I have come down in this form to liberate all of you. So only fools deride me, fools miss me. Don't miss Arjuna. Understand the ultimate nature of me and liberate yourself. Again and again, Krishna, out of his compassion, reveals the truth to Arjuna. Finally, he says a beautiful sloka, Chipram bhavadi dharmatma sasvas santim nigacchati kaundeya pradijanihi namebatta pranashyati. He quickly becomes eternal and attains the eternal consciousness. O Kaunteya, son of Kundi, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. He says, not only I am declaring to you, you declare this to the whole world boldly. Kaunteya pradijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. Please understand, the whole universe, whole cosmos is intelligence, and it responds to your thoughts, and it responds to your deeds, it responds to your consciousness, to your very being. The moment you understand, you relax into the eternal bliss. The moment you relax into the eternal bliss, Divine takes care of your yoga and Shema. Whatever you lack is brought to you, and whatever you have is preserved for you. Naturally, you will experience the inner space and outer space. This is the ultimate secret which Krishna reveals to Arjuna. Let us pray to the Parabrahma Krishna, the divine consciousness, cosmic intelligence, to make us all understand this secret and experience the outer space and inner space with eternal bliss. Nityananda. Thank you. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Pande Jagadgurum